Yeah.
Dominical action?
Yes.
Okay, and action.
We've been doing ADR/foley tonight here with Logan, the director, and Sam, the main key actor, and a few other actors we've had along as well this evening. And because when you actually recorded on the day, which was last month or something, I think it was.
About 3 weeks ago,
Yeah, there was no actual sound person recording it, although you did drop me a message.
Yeah. It wasn't like an entirely accidental thing. It was kind of intentional because we knew that, like, because of the way we were filming, it was all one shot. It was very hard. It was intense lighting and also so much movement of people. It would have been quite hard to get good sound on the day. And I thought, might as well bring David in.
I mean, I'm a bit biased, so of course I think all projects should always have a sound person on it. But I guess if you're going to pick anyone that would, I mean, this one is not so bad that you didn't have a person. Like, I mean, it would have been nice, if you perhaps had a wireless on each of the actors.
It would have been a lot more helpful,
Yeah, there would have been no chance of really using effectively a boom on most of the film, just because it was kind of like a one-shot take, and you had the steady cam and all the noise of that, and
really
the noise of the whips, and you used to shoot an anamorphic super wide, and you had like really intense lighting set up, so it would have been all these viscous shadows.
We actually had to hide some camera shadow as it was, so a boom would have been
and also it's not just that, but you're also going through like corridors and going around corners, and that would have been I mean, without even being there, but having seen the video, I can tell, like
it would have been a nightmare to have.
It would have been so difficult to execute.
It's
nicer that it wasn't neglected and we're able to do it tonight and get.
But
good
so I
mean,
like I think you should have at least had a wireless, but whatever. And the good thing though about this film though is that there is a relatively small amount of dialogue, and even better, the dialogue that is in this film is kind of just in bursts. It's not a person delivering a grand speech on and on and on and on and on, which would, if you're trying to like ADR that, especially not with like a proper screen with syncs, timings and so forth, that would be really, really difficult. But because it's basically little bursts of sound here, little bursts of sounds, like, you're saying a little bit here, a little bit there, and so forth, it's really just words or half sentences that we need to sync up. So that's not so bad. And of course, the ADR part of today was actually the smaller part of the day. Most of the day was really more about the foley side, which you would have done anyway, even if you had a sound person here to really like get that sound down. So we did at here that location, which conveniently is also his house. we so this is actually the real filming location. We went through and did passes for the footsteps in each segment, and we did passes for the cloth, for that, and then little details like picking up the gun and the bullets, the little details of there, details of opening the cupboard and then going to the tap and so forth, and also I was going through it and labelling all of this inside my F4 recorder, because at the start Logan was calling out and identifying each thing, which is nice. I mean, I think it's good to do it as well, but he wasn't realising the fact that I was basically describing each time what it was we were doing, which is definitely going to save you like hours of time and price, because we did like not 100 files, but it would have been like
80, I think.
It was quite a lot, and so if they just called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
that would have been a real nightmare.
Especially if we're not doing this in order either. It wasn't perfect consecutive order from start to finish. In fact, we did the opening scene. Well, I mean, it was one scene, the whole thing, but the opening moment last. That was also fun because you were driving up in a van, and because I'd given you like a headset to listen to what we're doing, I could kind of talk to you and go like, "Oh yeah, you can drive down now."
It was like when we didn't have radio tonight, because obviously it's just Foley's, but it was great. It was kind of like having our own radio, because he was like, "Oh, mate, you can come down now." I was like, "Oh, well, sweet, that's easy."
Yeah, because basically using the same way of communication, like when I've got a berm up, or something, you can just talk into the berm, and the person back at the recorder will end up hearing it. Well, in this case, because I had a transmitter going out from my sub out on my F4, there was then his listening to it. And I did this because because we were so focused on just sound today, I really wanted the director to, especially in this case, listen to the details of sound, because even though I might think the sound is fine, sometimes it can be subjective about what type of sound you're looking for. So at that point when I raised it was when we were opening the cupboard door, and I was thinking like it was a bit whooshy, the sound, and so like it's very subjective as to is that a kind of sound you want, or do you want maybe perhaps a harder sound?
Yeah.
And so I thought let's have you listen to actually specifically what I'm recording, and then you can make those judgment calls about like do you want it that way or do you want to do it slightly different ways? And it's same like back when we were jingling the keys inside your pocket. I mean I'm recording the sound of the jingling perfectly fine. Like technically everything is exactly right.
Yeah.
But then there's that artistic, subjective side about what kind of jingle do you actually sort of want from it. And so it's nice to sort of have the director make sure that he's getting his direction of the sounds coming through. What's what I was going to sort of mention? I was at one point thinking the Rode Micro burn pole, I think it's kind of a stupid, silly burn pole because it's only like 2 meters long in maximum, which just seems like a completely pathetic length. Like, it's just pointless. But I was thinking today, like, probably wouldn't be so bad to have a Rode Micro burn pole, because when I'm like in the bathroom and I was trying to like get the little small areas of sounds, or when we're navigating around the stairs or something. Another point is going like, it would be nice if I could fold up my burn pole to be even shorter than what mine is, and because we're not doing it with a film crew, I need to work around where the camera or whatever is, I don't need to extend it that long. So I was thinking for this scenario, actually, a shorter burn pole could be nice. But then again, there's still moments when I did feel like I needed the 3 meter pole, even though like I'm not needing to work around a camera.
Yeah.
So like for instance, when you're walking around in the gravel, I didn't want to be like sort of walking around the gravel myself because I'll be picking up my noise, and so if I put it at full length, I could just follow him with my burn pole and not need to move my feet at all. Or when I was doing it with the stairs, I could like drop it down and catch him at the top of the stairs and bring it up to bring it all the way around. So in the end, although I had a moment today when I was thinking maybe there was one kind of specific instance where the Rode Micro burn pole is not a stupid idea, I still felt by the end of it I think I had like the perfect length burn pole, one that is
big and small.
It doesn't go as short as the Micro does, but it still goes like that short, and its maximum length is I think 3.5 meters. So, which I feel that 3.5 meters is like the sweet spot for if you're booming and recording at the same time. I mean, if you're just doing booming, I think 5 meters is a better length because then you've got more potential reach. But when you're trying to also juggle like this big bag in front of you, like
makes sense.
Keep it like more reasonable what it is you're trying to juggle at the same time. Anyway, I'm sort of rambling on a bit. Like, what is your experience today of
yes, come on, tell us.
doing foley? I mean, it's not your normal kind of acting
it's not.
thing you would do, is it?
I mean, it was actually, I sound like it was my first time actually doing a proper ADR foley session, and it was it was cool. It was, I guess you don't really get to appreciate sound on on movies and stuff. You're too busy focusing on the cinematography and the actor performance. And I guess it was cool to sort of focus on a different side of it for once. So when I do watch it, I'm going to appreciate the sound effects, the
intricacies.
Yeah, all the intricacies. Yeah, exactly. With it. So.
Do you feel like when you go back to your normal acting, you might pay more attention to your sounds you make while you're going around now?
No, yeah, probably. Probably.
You'll actually think about how you pick stuff up and drop it down.
Yeah. And just being convenient, I guess, for the audio mixer or the boom op or whatever, and just making their job a bit easier. Yeah, definitely though.
Something useful sound trick that like when I had done some extra work like years ago, I picked up was when you're putting down a cup on a table, if you just put down your little pinky underneath, you can still drop it down up and down in a natural way, but you won't get the hard hit off the edge of the cup. Instead you get your finger touch. So that's like a example of like how background lectures, or even like if you're drinking in a scene as well, you can like not have like hard sounds that might overlap the dialogue.
That's cool. That's a good thing to know.
That's a little trick. Anyway, rambling on. Shall we? Any closing comments for the director?
No, it was good. I think that like it was. The ears feel a little bit weird after wearing a Comtech all day. I
wear my headphones all the time, and like I constantly have this struggle between I want to listen to it so loud I can hear every little background detail, that I might miss because, especially on a set that can be quite noisy as well as other stuff going on, you know, I might miss this that you end up noticing when sitting there in the sound studio and you can hear it in all the detail on your speakers, and I'm just like, I want to like really crank up the volume of my headphones so I can hear all the details.
Yeah.
On the flip side, I don't want to be deaf by like 20 years from now or whatever.
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, sometimes my ears are ringing and I'm like, that was bad. This is not a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say. I'm pretty happy with it. It's going to sound pretty good. A lot of work to do because now we've got to, you know, put 80...
Assemble all together.
Assemble 80 things in all different takes and probably about like 100 and 200 or so takes, I'd say. Which, when you think about it, we have like at least 2 takes for every shot, if not more. So that's the fun, and then, you know, all the sound design stuff. But I mean, I think the main thing is when you do Foley is not about getting necessarily the final sound. It's about getting the best raw sounds you can get to then assemble in like a proper creative way. And
yeah, I mean, about getting basically the building blocks to build stuff up. I mean, like even often for like a single sound, like a car driving, people might use a whole bunch of other different sounds to build up that sound.
When that last Gangster, there's lion roars when the engine turns on. You won't hear it, but there's fucking like 30 different tracks just for the car turning on.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, but
I'm not kidding. Don't fucking give me that look. We're talking. There's actually a lion sound.
yeah, well, we're talking here, by the way, about his previous short film last
David
year,
also
which I also did the sound
On
for.
set though.
But I was just purely doing the location side. I wasn't doing this post-production and recording. And but yeah, like I think that's an important thing for people to think about if they haven't done Foley before, is do think about stuff in little small segments to build them together. So for instance, for us, we were doing separate passes when we were doing the footsteps. So we'd just do the footsteps, just concentrate on that. And then for the cloths, you know, he would take off these big, heavy, noisy boots that the character was wearing, and he'd walk around in, I think, in socks you wear. So that we could just hear the rustles of his jacket, which was this one, which has quite a like unique
kind of sound.
sound to it. Like it's very different to this sound, because it's corduroy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Rambling.
enough about that. Oh, yeah, I do that. Okay,
No. You said to give you a heads up if that happened.
Yes, yeah, I did say to give you a
I think it
heads
happened
up.
like 4 minutes ago. But I just didn't want to say anything.
Thanks. Anyway, over and out. Thank you. Like, subscribe, stuff, and that thing.
Yeah, like and
Thanks.
subscribe.
Like, subscribe, follow.